Hello, today I'm going to show you how to make a tower defense in Obby Creator. Okay, so let's start by, of course, putting down a part. And let's make the map here first. Put a teleport pad. And it's gonna teleport you to this other area over here. I'm gonna make it a 50 by 50, as that's a reasonable size map, I think. I'm also gonna make it not so expensive by making it thinner. Okay, there. I'm gonna make it into grass. Now here's gonna be where the beginning of the enemies are gonna come from. So we're gonna put down a conveyor. Change its size so it fits. I'm just gonna make it into a simple map or like thing. So just make it go here, then turn it around, the conveyor. And then I'll make the end just simply over here. And I just go straight forward. Okay, there. Now we're gonna extend this to go out of the map. So then we put down a part and bring it up here a little bit. And now to make it a little bit easier to see, I'm gonna make it transparent, only if you want to. Go across the platform here. Now copy the part and separate it. So when the wave starts, all the enemies aren't just bunched up together. Now we expand the conveyor. Next, we put down a push block, and I'm gonna make it smaller so it fits better. You can choose your own size, or just make it cyan so it's easier to see. Okay, now copy and paste it along these platforms. Now we're gonna add a button, which is gonna be the start wave. You should also put a text on this to say start wave, start wave. I'll just make it look cooler by making it a font. Now this button and behaviors, make its click radius 200, make its time 0.5 and make it invisible. Now select it to all these push blocks over here. So like this one, this one, this one, and this one. And why 0.5 and not like, let's say infinite? Well, so you can replay the first round a few times to save push blocks, as there's a limit on them of 70. Oh, also, make the show timer false. Then you should also put a respawn part at the end. Respawn push parts 2. And to make it look a little bit better, go into data and make it into a cylinder. Turn it around. Now I just make it neon. The conveyor speed is too high. Set it down to a more reasonable speed, like 5, so I won't completely fall off. Like that. Now when you start the wave, they'll come in, turn around. Oh, I made another mistake. You see, it's a mistake. I'm supposed to make that go to there. Now it works. So now the push blocks work. And since I set it to 0.5, they don't keep coming. So you have to click start wave again, so it comes out again. Now for the money system. This is where it's really gonna bump up in difficulty. So first, let's make some numbers. So you can make it into like a text, but then I'll get hashtagged. So we're gonna make the numbers with parts. So like make your number 1, so like just a 1. Then over here, I'll make number 2. And so on. Time lapse. And there, I made all the numbers. So like over here we have 1, then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Color green. Now, we're gonna make a conveyor. Okay, we're gonna just make it like, but I'll just make it pretty thin. I'll make it decently long. I'll just make it like this long in case it's needed. Now make some walls. So go around the conveyor you just made. You'll see why. There. Now we're gonna make another like little wall, and we're just gonna put it like right here. Okay, now we're gonna put down a push block here. So push block, gonna move it inside. And you know what? I changed my mind. this is gonna be cyan, this is gonna be brighter white. Now we're going to put down a respawn part. Make sure its respawn push parts is true. Now here's where it gets a little bit more complicated. Oops, I made a mistake. I forgot to make the 0. Okay, there, the 0's made. Now you're gonna put down a button here, right? And let's say you know nothing about this, I'm gonna tell you what it does so you can kinda understand it. Okay, so first we're gonna make the can collide false. So this push block, when it activates this button, like a part is gonna make this wall right here invisible. It's gonna just like go through, right? And it's gonna activate this button with whatever it does. So it needs to go through it so it can activate the other buttons after it. Now we're gonna go on behavior and we're gonna set it to make objects invisible. Because I'm making it invisible, I'll just make it the color red so it's easier to remember what's what. Now with this, you're gonna make the time 0, which makes it infinite, right? You also need to make sure it's push block activated true, and you can just make it player activated false, so in case somebody gets in your system, they can't break anything. So then the objects here, we click edit, and you see the 0, we basically select all of its parts, then confirm. So now when like a button makes this wall invisible, and like the push part goes through the button, it makes the 0 invisible. The parts are still here, like the 0 is still there, it's just invisible, you can't see it. Next you're gonna put down another button, make it the same size. Can collide false, make the time infinite, show timer to false. Push block activated, make it true, and the player activated false. But this button will do something different, right? This button, you're gonna make the one visible. Now why visible? It's already visible. Well, because later we're gonna make all of these numbers except the 0, right, invisible. So when you like come to the obby, all you see is the 0, and so when you get a piece of money, it makes the 0 invisible, then the 1 visible, etc. and so on, right? So now this makes the 1 visible. Then we're gonna make another wall here. So like every time you get a piece of money, it makes these invisible, right? And so like this, every time you get a money, it makes each like the next number visible or the previous one invisible. That's how a money system works. In case you still didn't get it, I'm gonna do 2 more examples of this and then just do a time lapse. You can select these 3 parts, copy and paste them, and just move them over here, right? But now you see with the thread part, we already have all of its numbers like set, or all of its like things here set, so we don't need to like redo it. All we need to do now is with this red one, make the 1 invisible, and then with this blue one, make the 2 visible. And then with this, we're gonna do the same thing. 1 visible, 2 visible. This red one's gonna make the 2 invisible since that's what you had. And the blue one is gonna make the 3 visible. Get it? Now we're just gonna do that for the rest of these numbers, and then it's gonna be something different for the second digit. Okay, time lapse. Okay, after you've done all that, you should quickly test it in case you made a mistake. So first, select all of these parts here, right? And make its transparency 1, so invisible. Then, you should like grab one of these parts and see if it works. If it makes like the 0 invisible, then the 1 visible. If it doesn't work, then you need to fix it. But if it does work, then you're on the track. Now you do this for the rest of the numbers to see in case you ever made like a little mistake when selecting the buttons. I also have made mistakes like this. That's why you should always test it before going further to see if everything works. And for me, all of mine do work. Now, this last one makes the 9 visible. So next, you're just gonna like make another thing that makes the 9 invisible. But don't make another part for like the box for it. So we make the 9 invisible, right? Then here comes the next little different things, right? We get another part to make things invisible, and a button deactivator. Of the button deactivator, so you also need to put can collide off so the push part goes through it, and you gotta make its push block activated true and the player activated false. Oh, this part right here, dude. So you select edit with the objects and select all of these buttons. So like select all of the buttons. Except the second invisible part right here. And this invisible part, its time should not be set for it should be set for 0.5 seconds, or depending on the speed of your conveyor differently, 0.3 for 20 speed conveyor. So now when you go through it should work like that. So now you're back at 0. And then it just keeps going, like getting the money, etc. and so on. You should grab all of your numbers and make them visible again. So set it to 0 for the transparency for visible. It's basically, you're going to copy and paste this part right here that makes like parts invisible. And for now you're just gonna put it outside of your money system, and with this you're gonna make all your numbers invisible. So for now we're gonna start selecting all of the numbers, reach the max, and cannot select any more parts. So what I will do is I will just copy and paste this and select the rest of my numbers, a 9 and then there. So the best form is to grab what you've made, right? And then make it into a pre-made. Go into the pre-made and you have it right here. So now what you do is you place that pre-made down, right? And now boom, you don't have to reselect everything. It just saves time. Like you can see everything's already selected, but this last invisible part that you might remember that we added earlier still is doing nothing. So this invisible part is going to select all of these walls that stop push part from going. So we select all of these. So first we just put down the button, make it objects invisible 0.3 seconds, and then we just select it to all of the walls in the first conveyor belt. So like this one, and so like all these walls that I'm selecting. Okay, so now we select all of these parts and make them invisible, right? Just to test it, except the zeros, right? And so now it should work. So basically, jump on it, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 10. And then I can keep going, etc. And like this, it can go up to 99. Now we're gonna make the next part of this process. Now you see this part right here, we're gonna make can collide false, so the push part can go through it. We make push block activated to true and its player activated to false, right? But show timer false. Now bring this money, you see these push blocks? We put this above the push block, make it a little bit transparent. Now we make it go above all of these and in a line like this. But before we do that, we're gonna make some walls for these push blocks. Now over here, here's why I'm making this movement. It's for a very good reason. This is why I want to do this. You might make like that, safety time. You use something about Mario. You see this push block? We're just gonna move it up here, right? So like just like up here, just so it falls. You click the start wave and it goes through here, and when it makes it to the end of the track, it resets, goes up here, and then falls down on the money, which gives you $1. Now grab your red button, copy and paste it, and move it on a little bit over. Make it the color blue, just so it looks a little bit better. Now in its behaviors, make it to make the objects visible a time of infinite, and then select it to the 0. Now copy and paste this part and make it select the other 0 that you have in play. Now move these parts on and over, so I will move the blue part first, then I will move the invisible parts to over here. Now I just move them a little bit more back, just so it's a little bit more separated. Now you might be asking, why It's for in the future when we make our tower defense system. It's gonna allow us to buy towers, and it's gonna allow it to work and not actually break for the money system. Now with your numbers that are already all invisible, we're going to make them all go up to the 0. So whenever like a number passes, it's all gonna stay in the same spot. So it looks better rather than the numbers going out and you need to use up more area. So first select the 1st digit of the numbers that you have made and bring them to the 0. Now you just have to bring the rest of the numbers to the 0. So then we move it with the 2 and so on. Now that you've put all your numbers into the 0, whenever you touch the button, you can see all the numbers right in the exact same spot, which is overall way better. So now you can put your number digit anywhere, but I will put them over here. There. Now just to make it look better, I will add a part and put it behind the number digit. And then I will make it the color black just so it looks a little bit better. So when you're looking at the number digits, it actually you can see it better in case you have a background. Since this is a 1 stud across, I will put the move at 0.99. So then we move it across. And then now when you look at the numbers, you can only see 0.01. Now it looks even better. Now go back to the move as 1, copy and paste your part and bring it up here. Give it a text. So now with this text, we give it a text of money so people understand what this is instead of just seeing numbers rising for no apparent reason. I'll make it the color green and a different font. I'll make the font Fredoka 1 just so it looks a little bit better. So now that's the font that we have in there. Now we're gonna make it where you can place the towers and they actually cost money, which is also pretty hard to do. So first we're gonna put down a part, put it over here, and have an effect for text that says buy tower. I just make it a font so it looks cool. Now I'm gonna make this the color red, and then I'm gonna copy and paste this, and down here I'm gonna put how much it costs. I'm gonna make it cost $5. Now we're gonna do the exact same thing but with the button and the color green. And then we're gonna copy and paste the part. Instead of keeping it the color red, we're gonna make it green. We can just copy the same color from the buy tower. Okay, so guys, I kinda lost the other recording, so yeah. So we're gonna start from pretty ahead, okay? I'm gonna try to explain this as best as possible. So before we had just made these 2 buttons. Now we're gonna make this bigger by all the sides by 1. You can see 1, so like this.
By all the sides, so it might look pretty big for now, but you're gonna see 1 later. On the sides. Of course, except like up here, the tower down.
Now in the move, we change it to 0.99. So now we put these together. 0.01 stud larger than this red one over here. So when we combine these 2 together, the green one is actually bigger, so it actually appears over it. It's pretty helpful. Now we're gonna make the unit, which I already made the unit. So this is the unit. It's pretty basic. Okay, green. Then make a little pistol. Put a respawn part, respawn push parts true. We're gonna make a conveyor belt for this unit. So basically, grab like the conveyor system of the money you made. So the conveyor, the walls, the respawn part, and the push block, and the first wall, and this button. Grab all of that and copy and paste it. But now shorten it up. It does not have to be that long.
Please like move it over. As it's wasting space to being done.
Also move this back. Now with this button, make it still make objects visible, and it's gonna make this enemy visible, but not the respawn part. We should also copy and paste this button here, but this one should have a time of 0.1 second to make the things visible, and set it to the respawn part. Select what you've made, copy and paste it, and you can put it wherever you want, but I'll just put it back here. Right, so basically first move your first button back, make it for objects invisible and just make it the color red. And this button is going to select the buy tower with modify effects true. Now we're going to put down a button. Now just make it like the color cyan, and then I'll give it a text and make the text say buy, or just give it a font like Bonjour. And I'll just make the text like a color like green. Behaviors, make it for invisible, it's click radius 200 and it's time for 0.5, show timer false. Now move it up on your track, and then over to your money system is you're gonna add a respawn part, move it onto here and basically make it go across all of your numbers, so like from digit 1 to all of your digits, right? Then make it can collide false and respawn push parts true and invisible. Then over here add a blue button which makes this respawn part visible for a time of 0.5 seconds, show timer false, push block activated true. And before that add another button that makes objects invisible. You see, this button is gonna make the buy tower and like all these buy things that you made earlier with modify effects true as well, and the push block activated true, show timer false, and make objects invisible. You also need to add another button, but this button is gonna make the beginning wall that was holding push block back from your first conveyor belt invisible for infinite amount of time, and the buy button is gonna be selected to make this one invisible for 0.5 seconds. And you should also delete this respawn part. Now next what you're gonna do is your buttons here, you're gonna stretch out and you're gonna grab your conveyor belt system here plus the character you made and make it into a pre-made, right? Now you can put that pre-made down. And since you made all of this into a pre-made, you don't have to reselect everything as it's already all selected. Pretty cool, right? Let's start by copying the buy button that we recently made, putting it in another location for a map. So for now, I'll just put it over here. So with this button, select it to your roll on this conveyor system for your new unit, like that. So just select it. Now click confirm. Then the unit that you just made, move it on and over to where your buy is. So I put mine right over here, so I just move it right over here. Now I will make it invisible. Now go over here to where your red stretched out button is, grab it and select it to your new buy button, and then click confirm. Now go to your red invisible button at the beginning, select it and select it to your buy buttons that you have made. I only have made 2, so I will select it to these 2 buy buttons as this will make them invisible when you start the game. Now with your buy tower, you should select it to your new buy button that you have just made. So for me, I put it right there, so that one. So now if you go to test your obby, you start with your starting cash of $5, you click buy tower and you have a cooldown of 10 seconds to buy any of your towers. So I'll buy this one that we just made. Our money is resetted and the buy buttons and the buy tower is made invisible, so you can't click it again to buy another tower for free. Now we start the wave and the enemies come. They're turning the corners from the conveyors that we made and fixed. So the respawn part, it hit the enemy and it made it respawn, which gave us $1. Let's see if it hits another enemy. And then another enemy and we got $1 more. You might ask, how do we make the live? Place down another button over here. Expand over the track. You're gonna make it scan collide false. Also make it push block activated true and the player activated false. Now makes object invisible, 0.3 seconds, show timer false, and make it invisible. Now with this, we're gonna make another conveyor system. It's gonna have to be probably even longer than this one. So let's make sure we copy all of this. So make sure to copy all of these walls in here as well. So now we're gonna copy and paste that and move it over here. Now we need like the numbers again. You should still have that pre-made of your money system. Here we go, our money system. You can just delete this.
Really need it there.
We just need the number. Okay, let's move it on over here. We're gonna make a new digit, which is gonna be 10. With this, we're gonna add the buttons again. So basically go over here and just like copy and paste the buttons. Okay, so this first one, the red one, we're gonna make the 10 invisible. And then we're gonna make the 9 visible. Then we're gonna make 9 invisible. So like whenever a push block gets all the way to the end over here, it's gonna activate this button, which is then gonna, whenever a push block gets through, it's gonna make the 10 invisible and then the 9 visible. So you're gonna lose 1 life, and it's gonna keep going like that until you lose all your lives and then you lose. Then make the 9 invisible and so on. Now, make the numbers 0 through 9 invisible, and then we're going to test it. We lose a life, second number, we lose a life, then like 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I need one more section. Copy and paste these 3 parts. So now this should make the 1 invisible, and this should make the 0 visible. Now in this last digit here, delete the respawn part and the last wall. Next, go to your map, put down a part, put the part in the air, then make it bigger. Put text here, and it's just gonna say, you lost. Red, black. Make the font Caesar dressing. You lost. This last blue button is also going to make the you lost part visible with modify effects true. We're gonna copy and paste this button again, add a fading part. So push block activated true, selected false. I'm gonna make it 3 seconds. Place down a respawn part and size it up to cover the whole map. And this blue button is also going to make the respawn part visible for about 0.5 seconds. Make the respawn part can collide false and invisible. Copy and paste this first red button and move it up to where the push part is, and select it to the you lost sign to make invisible and with modify effect true. So it's invisible. Now with this button, select all of these walls. Right now you can escape outside of the map, so we're going to make walls so you can't. We can see that this push block is 2.5 by 2.5. So I might just make like a part here. 2.3. So we just need it to there. To let the push block through, but not so high where you can also get through. And boom. Now you can make the walls much higher and longer.
Into like this area where the push blocks are, as the area is not supposed to be going to take.
Now we're gonna make this a reflective material. I might just make this a little bit taller. So make sure that these have cast shadows as well, so just so you're not constantly having a shadow to deal with. I'll make this a little bit bigger.
Start wave.
Now you have everything done, except you'll have to put the lives into the map. So now let's do the same thing that we did earlier. Let's select all these parts, right? Move them into the 10. There. Now do this with the rest of the numbers. Now, we're gonna select all of these numbers and make them the color red to represent the live. Rotate the numbers this way, then move it inside the map and put them right here. And just with the live counter,
You put them in the sky over here.
I'm gonna add a part. Now I'm gonna copy the same color from over here, so like black. Now we're gonna use 0.99, just boom, there. Just in case the person doesn't know what these numbers mean, we're going to put a text that says lives. color red. I'll just use this font, live, copy and paste it, turn it around. But over here, I will money, make it green. Little bit. Live and the money. Wait there, I might make this expand a little bit over this way. Now we have officially finished. Now we're gonna test out our tower defense that we made. Okay, so now let's buy the tower. I'm gonna buy a tower like right there. Now I'm gonna start the wave, and it's red because I don't have enough. And I actually hit them, so now I have $1. Okay, I missed. This enemy is gonna take out one of my lives. Yep, now I only have 9 lives. 8, 7. And now I'm gonna buy another unit right there. Boom, no way they get the... He got through. Oh no. Only have 5 lives. This is looking pretty bad. Okay, we have to start the next wave. We're losing another life. This is real bad. Okay, we have $5. I'm placing another tower right there. We have only 1 life. Oh no, if this block makes it through, we lose. Oh, we lost. GG, 0 lives, you lost. Oof, and it resets me there. Depending on what tower defense you can make the lobby and more towers and whatever. But now at least you know the basics on how to make a tower defense in Obby Creator. And if you want to play the tower defense that I made, like the original, this is the Obby ID right here. And that's how you make a tower defense. Bye!